us out.
All right, very cool. So right now we're going to wait a little bit because we know we have a bunch of people that are going to join us. So we're just going to chit chat a little bit right now before we get this rolling. But I'm so excited to have you on here with me, Nicole.
This
is a great experience. It's scary and not fun situation, but we're definitely all making the best out of it, aren't we?
So true. So true.
So for those of you that are going to be watching, this is my really good friend, Nicole Elwood. We have known each other for years and years and years. I actually don't remember how many years, but it's been many years.
Yep. Our oldest were tiny. Mine was a baby.
Did we meet in Mommy and Me Yoga?
I don't know if it was Mommy and Me Yoga or something like that. Now, I couldn't tell you exactly what it is, but then, we just started hanging out with babies, with some other people, and we got lucky because everybody doesn't really click with the people they meet with their kids.
Exactly.
So we got so lucky.
We got very lucky.
How much time we spend, at the parks and playing around and all this stuff, and it's so nice to really have mama talk, right?
Yes. And that our kids really became friends too.
Oh my gosh, it couldn't have worked out better.
So Nicole has opened up her own yoga studio. She co-owns Underground Yoga and Meditation Center in East Stroudsburg.
Yep.
They're just right next to Vinnie D's. And so, once all of this is over and you're looking for an amazing yoga studio to practice and to, be with like-minded people, that's the place to go. Nicole, tell us, when did you open Underground Yoga?
My partner and I, Nadia Manichak, we opened in 2017. Both of us have been teaching yoga forever, and we finally decided that it was time.
Yes.
It was time because we wanted a place where people could come and they could be relaxed. They could be themselves. They could look inside and calm down and do all this wonderful transformative work potentially while getting a workout. And then when they leave, they feel like they can better handle the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Which is exactly why we opened it. And I think we've stayed true to that. And it's been a beautiful community that's grown up, fabulous friendships. It's just, you watch it. Somebody walks in the door and they just go, ah. And Nadia and I giggle. We're like, we know. It's great.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm just checking on Facebook right now to make sure we are actually live. Oh, there we are. Look at that. All right. Leah says she doesn't have sound.
Let me look.
Can you just let us know if you hear us now? I want to make sure that you guys are hearing us. Bridget, I see you on here. Can you hear us? I hope it's working. Okay. Well,
sometimes there's a time lag between
exactly.
say something and when somebody can respond, so it may take a moment.
Yeah. And mine didn't update all that easy, so hopefully. Sorry, guys, hang in here with us as we're trying to figure this out. This is our first, webinar broadcast live. So, oh, yes, she can hear us. Okay, that's awesome.
Okay.
Thank you, Bridget.
I see my microphone doing things that it didn't do before. So thank you for alerting us.
Very good. Okay, so let's jump into this. The reason we're here is because we want to talk about how we can keep our spine, our back and neck moving easier, moving better, decreasing the stress that we have on it from sitting a lot more than usual and just from overall being stressed out. Yeah. So I figured Nicole would be the best person to kind of give us advice on that and talk us through if we have questions and all of that. So Nicole, I'm going to turn the floor over to you. I'm going to make you bigger on the screen so everybody can hear better. And if anybody has questions, please feel free to post it here. I'm going to do my best to check in, and we will make sure we will get your questions answered as well. So quick shout out though, to all the awesome people that are watching. Kat is here and Itzy is here and Chris all the way from North Carolina. Hi, Chris. Nice you are here. And Elizabeth, Bridget. Oh, that is wonderful. Leah, I hope you did get sound now. So hooray. It's great to have you guys on here, and I'm sure others will be joining us shortly. So, all right, here we go, Nicole. I'm turning the floor over to you.
Awesome. And please, like Dr. Bryn said, ask questions. That's why we're here. We wanted to make this interactive to help you in your particular situation. Where are you right now? And how can you get more movement and stay healthier at right now in your body, at your home, at your work, at this time in your life? And so really the first thing is to think about just moving more, because regardless of what you're doing, going to work or not going to work, most of us, not all of us, but most of us are sitting. I'm sitting so much more than I usually do. And what can we do to keep that some movement going? The first thing to remember is that just because you're sitting doesn't mean you have to be still. So think about changing your shape. Think about changing the shape that you're in. And I'm going to back up a little so you can watch me. I'm on an exercise ball right now. You can sit on the floor, you can sit on a chair, you can sit wherever you want. But think about all the different ways the spine can move. And as you're sitting, and we'll reference this later, which is why we're talking about this now, you can do a back bend and a forward fold, back and forth. You can do side stretches with or without the arms. And the other way.
Over here, Nicole, I'm going to go with you.
And then
I hope you guys at home are joining us too as much as you can.
Yes, please. And the other way the spine moves is twisting back and forth. So if you're sitting, regardless of where you're sitting, think of those, it's 3 directions, back, forth, side to side, and twist. And then you can start combining them. So maybe I'm listen to me. Maybe I'm side stretching, and then I'll twist back and forth.
I'm going to jump in really quick here. Joan, I see it's not working for you. I would say log back out and jump back in. That might help. Okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Well, hopefully on the replay, she'll get it. And then say we can twist, and then while we're in a twist, and you want to be gentle here, because as we all know, you have one spine, you have one back, and we certainly want to move it around and be strong, but you want to be mindful and pay attention to what you're feeling. So you're in a twist, and then you can do a very small back bend and dome. Small, trying to get as much movement out of the pelvis as possible, because what happens is we tend to move what's easier, which is usually the head and neck, which is great. We want to move the head and neck. But we don't want to not move the rest of the spine as well. So we can twist and then back and forth. You can stop wherever you want, where it feels good. You can do that anywhere. And of course, anything else, move the shoulders around.
Oh, that's my dance move.
Oh, it is. Wrists, fingers, articulate the fingers. Move the wrist, and if you get really fancy, you can bend and straighten the elbows while you're doing it. I don't know. I feel like I'm not coordinating enough to do that. Dancer, but you don't have to be a dancer. We just have to move around, and just after doing that little tiny bit, you just kind of feel a little bit invigorated, and we haven't left our chair.
Right.
Yes, which is awesome. But you can do those things all standing up too. Doesn't matter where you are. There's one thing that you can do with your upper body that tends to loosen the whole thing quickly all at once. And I'll stand up and show you. And I learned this from my exercise ball is going to be bouncing around. I learned this from a woman named Jen Miller from Yoga Tune-Up. And so we'll add the breath in a moment. But essentially, palms are up, and we bring the hands together. So the little finger side of the arm comes together. First the finger, the hand. Then we start to bend the elbows. And now my forearms are together. The palms come to the forehead. They scrape over the scalp as far as they can. And then you try to keep the wrists together as you roll them up. And then bring them all the way back down. And as you're coming down, you're pushing them as far away from you as you can. So inhale, fingers come together, forearms, bend the elbows, scrape the palms, keep the elbows together as you the wrists together as you roll them, and then exhale, push them as far out of your peripheral vision as you can. So little finger, elbow, bend, scrape, roll the wrists, exhale down.
That feels good.
Quick. And you don't have to do it perfect. And you know the basic rule of thumb, if it hurts, don't do it. So if you know you have rotator cuff issues or something that's preventing you from doing it, don't do it like that. Do something different. That does feel good. Oh, good. That was good.
Yeah.
I feel better now. I went for a walk earlier, but you know, me, just like most of us, are just sitting. Yes. Even I know I shouldn't sit all the time. I know I need to move, but I'm so engrossed in what I'm doing, I'm not moving. So I'm trying.
I have a timer set. Every 30 minutes, my timer goes off on my phone, and then I have to do something. I either put a song on and start dancing like a goofball here at home, or I do specific exercises for just a couple of minutes, or just walk once around the house and back. And then as soon as I sit back down, I click that button again for another 30 minutes.
It's not something to overthink. Just get up and move. It's like, you just do whatever. If you have a little kid around, do what they're doing. If that's not a workout, I don't know what is. And you know, and sometimes you can't. Like sometimes you're in the middle of something and you can't necessarily get up when the bell dings, which I love, by the way. I love the alarms. I set those too. And so even if you can't get up and spend 5 minutes walking around, you can just stand up and sit back down. Stand up and sit back down. But we want to do so using muscles using particular muscles that we want to use. So I'll show you. Let's see. Here's my chair. Let's go down a little. How about that?
Perfect.
All right. So as we're sitting, I better put my glasses by the computer or I'll lose them again. As we're sitting, we certainly can lean back, but every now and then, maybe scooch to the edge of your chair. So we would love to all be sitting on an exercise ball or one of those balls like you have, Dr. Bryn, that allows your hips to move freely. Great for pregnant women. Pregnant women usually discover this. But it's great for everybody because everybody needs to move. So if you just scooch to the front of your chair, now you're using your core muscles that you're not using if you're sitting back because you're outsourcing your core's job to the chair to hold you up. Mm-hmm. So you're automatically just doing something simply by scooching forward. And from here, even if you're working, every half an hour, every 5 minutes, whatever it is, you can add some of those, which ways can my spine move, and combine them. You can also just straighten the legs, bend and straighten the legs under the desk. You can windshield wiper those feet on the heels, roll the ankles back and forth. I don't know if people can see this. You might be blocking. But I think everybody knows how to roll their ankles. There we go. Just back and forth. Yeah. Spreading the toes. I'm going to take my socks off for a minute. And so you can point. Oops. You can point, squeeze the toes, and then flex and spread. Point, squeeze, flex and spread. Move the toes around like waves. It's little things that we can just do the whole day. I mean, sometimes we're completely still, but little things you can do the whole day. Or maybe if you're taking a phone call and you're sitting, can you stand for that moment and take the phone?
Yeah.
I mean, so there's a lot of things that you can do. We just have to think about it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I mean, these are things you can even do while you're sitting on the couch and watching TV. I mean, not everybody has to be sitting in front of a computer.
Right, or playing. Yeah, whatever it is.
Even in normal, regular life, this is a great thing. This is not just for right now.
No, this is for forever. And little workouts that you can do. Oops, can't see my head. How about that?
We see your core. That's pretty important.
There you go. So as you're sitting, you can pay attention to how you're standing and sitting back down. And so if you can't take the 5 minutes, maybe you can just stand and sit. Great. You've done something. That's awesome. You've gotten some blood flowing, used some muscles. But one thing we want to do is train ourselves to use our posterior, use the back. So that's what we want. So even when we're doing squats, those of you who lift weights are aware of this, you're always pushing the weight back. You want the weight back in the heels. And so when you're getting up and down off of a chair, you want to use the back body. So the first thing is to sit on the chair normally, stand up, and notice, do I use my arm strength to help push myself out of this chair? Or am I using legs? Am I using the rest of me, my low body? That's the first thing. And if you're using your arms, try not to use your arms. And as you stand up, you're going to put your ankles under your knees and try to stand like that without your knees going forward. See what I mean? So
without the knees going forward, okay.
You want to go forward a little, of course, but you don't want it to go forward a lot. When the knees are bent and the weight's forward, you can feel it. You're using your quads, which pulls up on your kneecaps. Can you?
Yeah.
So, and you can even stand for a second and feel it. So if you send your weight back into your heels, then your quads can relax. When you shift your hips forward, your quads engage the front of the thighs, which pulls up on the kneecap.
Yeah.
Which is not an ideal biomechanics situation. So when we're just standing, we want to relax the quads, relax the kneecaps. We want to recruit the back body to do some of this work. And so you can just come up and down off the chair, keeping the knees as far back as you possibly can. And it's a process like everything else. So the first thing is to do it with no hands. The second thing to do is to try to keep those knees back the whole time. And you can feel it, right?
Yeah.
This is a tall, no big.
For those of you that are watching and trying this out with us here, can you feel the difference? Can you notice the difference as you're watching? Hi, Shannon. Hi, Lisa. Hey, Caroline. I see you guys jumped on. Christina from Florida. Hooray.
Yeah.
Are you guys feeling this difference here? Oh, and Debbie, I don't know if I saw you earlier on here. Hi, Debbie. Can you feel that difference?
Yeah.
When you do that, or did you have any questions earlier from the stuff that I really like this thing here. That was fun. Yeah. For those of you who missed that earlier, go back and watch that again, because that was very cool.
Inhaling up and then exhaling when the hands come down.
Yeah. Very nice. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm just an interrupter.
Oh. So we can just keep standing and sitting. And you can start with a chair that's higher, a bar stool. You can even put pillows on top of that to lift it up even more, to get the right form, to build the strength, build the mobility, to do it. And then you can start on a lower chair.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something that really all of us want to maintain the ability to do, so we can be independent throughout the course of our life, in particular in the bathroom, right? So, yes. It's really important, right? I mean, we want to be as independent as we can be.
Especially if you watched Grace and Frankie with her invention of the movable toilet bowl, because she got stuck on the toilet bowl because she couldn't get up.
You know, it's not the only one. Talk to people. This happens all the time. So when you want that backside, your butt, the hamstring, the whole backside to do the job they're designed to do. And part of it is sitting down. And really, and after you get that, then you start to squat. But a squat is a tall order because we don't squat often. And then you begin to go not on the chair, but now you're coming all the way down into a squat and coming back up like this. So we're here. Come all the way down. Your feet can point any way you want. And come back up.
Yeah.
Just a few of these can get you.
So we have some people saying, Leah and Itzy said, yes, absolutely. So did Elizabeth, but she says it hurts her knees because she only has half a minute there.
Gotcha. So one thing you can try, it may work, it may not work, is to use your big toe more. So your feet are pointed in the same direction as your knees. Spread out the toes as much as you can and use the feet. So 9 times out of 10, knee pain, whatever it is, will go away when you start using the feet, especially the big toe.
Oh, she just said I didn't have my ankle. I'm sorry. She said I didn't have my ankle under my knee. Now it is better when I do it right. Yeah. Perfect. Awesome.
Still use the feet. Use the feet. Use the feet. Use the feet.
Yeah.
It helps.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. What's next, Nicole? What else do you have for us?
I have something that is something I've only learned within the past few years, and I've learned it from my favorite biomechanist. Her name is Katie Bowman, about a psoas. So many of it. Let me explain to you what I'm talking about first, just before I get on the ground and show you. So the psoas muscles are very strong. You have 2, one in the left and one in the right. They're very strong, big rope-like muscles, and they attach back here. They go through your pelvis and they attach to the top of your thigh bone. When we sit a lot, that distance from here to the top of the thigh bone is shorter. And so if we sit a lot, those muscles, those flexors tend to get short. I'm picking on the psoas, but really there's a whole bunch of other things involved here, but we'll just stick with the psoas. So it tends to get short. And remember, like, we can't do something that completely undoes some other behavior, right? Eating a salad is great, but it doesn't mean you didn't eat the candy bar.
No? Oh, man.
Right, I know. It's all input. And so sometimes, I mean, we all sit. Some of us have to sit for longer than other times. And so we want to find some releases that can help counter this. Okay. So another thing that shortens this psoas is stress, because of the fight or flight response. So what do you do when you're going to run or fight? You do this, which is sitting. You have this angle right here. So again, you're shortening the psoas. Is this making sense so far?
Yeah, absolutely. It's this fight or flight response. To me, it makes sense. Sorry, if you guys want to jump in.
Yeah, I can't read it. So Dr. Bryn, tell me to slow down and pull up a review.
Absolutely. There's definitely a bit of a delay. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
The other thing that sometimes we can tell if our psoas is short or tense is when we're standing. So if you're standing, often our hips are forward because our psoas is short. So this shortens the distance between here and here, whereas this lengthens it when my hips go back. So when my hips are forward, this is short, and they lengthen when they come back. So there are some folks, hips are forward and their ribs are thrust forward because, because the psoas.
I see that a lot in the office.
Yes, and sometimes it's because the muscle itself is too short because it adapts to whatever you do most often. And so we want to release it. So one way to release it, and if I said, stretch your psoas, what would you say? I mean, you can't even find it, much less stretch it, right? It's not like a bicep. We know how to stretch that. So what we do it passively. We stretch it passively, and I'll show you what I mean. I'll get down on the floor. I'm going to move this camera. Is that better? Yeah. So if my rib cage is kind of thrusting forward because of a shortened or tense psoas, then when I'm laying on the ground flat, my ribs are still going to be thrust forward, and probably it lifts up a little.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing you want to do is see, can I not push my back rib cage down to the ground, but can I just relax and it will sink? When we do this, you want your feet about hip width apart. So if your feet are wider, it shortens the distance. So that will just give you relief. But we're trying not to do that. So keep your feet right about hip length and just see, is my rib cage popping up or does it have room to go down? And if you can push it down with your muscles, now you know, okay, I have room to go. So we're going to give it the opportunity to do that. So you need something to prop up on. If you were in our center, we have fabulous props and bolsters and things like this. Things that work well at home are stacks of towels. So I could grab one of these couch cushions, but the couch cushion has a lot of yield, and I don't necessarily want a lot of yield here. So this is a little bit more firm. So I'm going to lay down with my shoulders and my head on here. Only my shoulders and the head. And then I'm going to take another blanket, put it under my neck, my head, so there's no strain, no stress on the neck. So sometimes you see people and their throat is stretched like this. No, we want the whole body to be able to relax. So
yes, this is not a stretch for your cervical curve.
Yes.
So
yes,
this is a totally different thing.
Yeah, this is, yeah. And here, you can tell if you might have the right position because you can use your muscles to push your rib cage down a little. And then we're just gonna sit here and we're gonna relax. It's harder than it sounds. So the idea is we're gonna relax the core muscles so much that not only are the muscles that we can feel relaxing, but that relaxation seeps down deeper into the deep core. And then let gravity pull, sort of tug and elongate that psoas, among other things. And I would do that for maybe 10 minutes to start, see how that goes. You can do it twice a day, but I just popped right up because I wasn't on there for long. So when you're coming off, you're just going to roll to your side, move the blankets out of the way, and then just lay flat. I mean, if you're in there for a while, your tissues will need a moment to adjust before you move on.
Yeah, Nicole showed me this move yesterday already as we were testing out the video camera and all of that stuff. And I tried it, of course, last night here.
Wow.
Yes, I did. And I used the sofa cushion, but mine is definitely harder.
Yeah.
I watched TV while laying there, and it literally took maybe a good minute till I felt like, wow, now it's relaxing in there. So that was definitely interesting to feel that shift. So that was very cool.
You go, the deeper the relaxation kind of gets, and you relax more and more and more. It's very interesting. But then every now and then you have to consciously, is my belly completely relaxed? Because often we just tense it for all sorts of reasons, just without even thinking about it. So
yeah, I was tensing my legs more.
Yeah.
And I had to relax the legs for my stomach to relax.
Yeah.
So
yes, that's the other thing. And then one thing you'll find, so if it's a little too much, then what you're going to do is lower this stack. And if it's not quite enough, then make it higher. But the other thing that happens is without even thinking, you start to let those feet separate. And so you want to watch that too. Because you're releasing the stretch without realizing it.
Do you have anything else for the people with neck tension or anything else like that? Or does anybody have any questions? Does anybody want a specific yoga move or position for a specific discomfort? Yeah. If you do, please let us know. That's what Nicole is here for.
Yep.
If not, since there's a delay, I'm going to have her talk right now a little bit about neck tension, because in the neck we hold so much, especially when we're stressed, because we start to raise our shoulders to our ears.
Yep.
And maybe even, there are still people who are, running their homes and doing all that stuff, and they're on their feet all the time. So they're not sitting too much, but they're on their feet all the time. And they might look for something to do, to reverse the effects of just being on their feet too much.
Yeah. For the head and neck is something that it's really helpful to be mindful about the position of your head and neck all day long. So, we know that we can raise and lower the chin, side to side, tip back and forth. It's the same as the rest of the spine, right? Back and forth, twisting, and then tipping, side stretch back and forth. When you're doing that, especially the side to side, bring the chin back. So the biomechanists call this the head ramp. I believe Dr. Bring calls it the funky chicken.
Yes.
So almost all of us have chin. Let me show you. Have our chins jutting out.
Mm-hmm.
And we want this chin to be back. So when the chin juts out, all the weight of the head is forward. And it puts all these smaller muscles, it makes the smaller muscles do work to hold the head. Whereas when the head is farther back, things are stacked, bigger muscles are doing their job, and the little muscles don't have to pick up the slack. This is why it starts to hurt, because little muscles are doing a job that they're not necessarily intended for. So of course, moving it around and feeling it. How far can I go forward? How far can I go back? Hence the chicken, right? Mm-hmm. But then as we're going through the course of our day, always just bring the chin back. And not so much that you're like this. It's just bringing it back. The back of the neck is long. The crown of the head is going up to the sky. So we're not trying to scrunch. We're trying to get length and bring it back. And every now and then I like check myself in the mirror, like, is my ear over my shoulder yet, instead of being far? And I haven't done it yet. And I try, and it's not quite there. But it's helpful for all of us to be working for. And I can tell a difference. Like if I'm actively bringing this head back, I don't feel these muscles so much when I'm hunched over. And we're all hunched over. You're washing dishes, you're on the computer, whatever, you tying shoes, like everything, we're all hunched over. So it's very helpful to do this. And then, and one reason we do it is because we're holding this and then our arm gets tired. So it goes down. And so what happens? That's what happens. But something to remember is if you look at the position of, say, this spot right here in the spine and the top of the skull, if my head is forward, it's short. And then when I bring my head back, it's longer. Short, long. Mm-hmm. So if we're habitually have our head forward, it's possible that our muscles aren't even long enough to bring it all the way back. Mine's not long enough to bring it all the way back yet. I'm almost there. I'm getting there. So there's a lot of things that we always want to work towards. And so whether or not it comes all the way back isn't relevant. What's relevant is that you're practicing and being mindful. Like 1,000,000 times a day, think, funky chicken, bring it back.
And the fun thing on top of this is, it's funny, I pretty much see all women watching here today. That posture, this versus this, that posture in and of itself makes such a difference in our lives, because when we're sitting upright, when we're standing upright, we make a totally different impression on the people around us. Yeah. We act more confident. We are being perceived more confident. And on top of it, it's actually not just healthier for you, but it actually releases happy chemicals and hormones too when you're standing like this. So it has so many benefits to really pay attention to that. And I'm going to jump in with just a quick another little advice, Nicole, that I've been telling people a lot. I learned it from my sister in the Netherlands, who's a chiropractor as well. So we're not so much in our cars right now, but at some point we will be allowed to be back in our cars. So then when you're driving, to actually push your head against the headrest in the back and count to 10, push, 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 and then release. First of all, if you look in other people's cars, you see everybody sitting like this.
Totally.
Right? And so the headrest, you should be resting your head against it. So, push your head against that headrest, count to 10, relax. Do that 3 times. You will strengthen the muscles that are there to hold your head in this position. And over time, I've been doing this now since last summer, since my sister, decided to share this with me. I've actually noticed that when I drive, my head is further back. So doing something good right there. That's such an easy thing to do that when we're back in the car, we can use again.
You know what I found there in the car is that my headrest was so far forward that if I had a ponytail, it was thrusting my head forward and I didn't notice it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. Like, so now every time I get in my car, I'm immediately thrusting forward because I have a ponytail and a headrest. So that's something to check too. Do you need to move it back just a little bit so that you can actually sit up straight without being forced to do that? Crazy, right?
Exactly. Leah, she just said she tried to get her husband to join, but he wouldn't. Well, you can tell him all the good stuff anyways, because the same applies for men. They come across definitely much more masculine too when they stand like this. It's not just a feminine thing.
Oh, yeah.
So cool. People have been saying, Elizabeth said definitely the neck, and Leah said also neck and shoulders for sure. So that seems to be definitely an area where people love some attention.
Yes.
Cool. All right, so we're already at 35 minutes in here, so I don't want to take everybody's attention for too long. I mean, Nicole and I could do this like all day. We could just sit here and chit chat. Unless I see any new questions coming in right now. Or Nicole, was there anything else that you felt you really wanted to share with us yet?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope that everybody who watched this enjoyed this as much as we did. We definitely have fun doing this.
Always.
And so from Nicole, I've also learned in the past, she is really, really good with breath work. And the one thing that happens when we feel stressed, when we're under pressure, when we're feeling the effects of anxiety, is that our breathing gets really affected, and our breathing affects all these things. It's like a spiral with breathing and not breathing well. So my goal is to bring Nicole back on in a few days, maybe early next week, and have her here to show us some really cool breath work techniques to reduce our stress levels, to help us just get more out of our oxygen intake that we need so very much.
That's perfect. And in the meantime, everybody practice some of these postural things and moving around, because when the better your posture gets, the more room your lungs have to move, the better your heart can beat if it's got the space. So it all goes hand in hand.
Yeah. Let's do one more of those cool things. Yeah, I like that. Where do we start with this thing?
Oh, yes. Okay. So palms are up. The pinky sides of the hands come together. Start to bend the elbows. The forearms come together. Then you scrape the forehead as far back as it will go. Roll the wrist, trying not to separate the wrist. And then exhale, pushing those hands as far out of the peripheral vision as possible. Then again, so it's one inhale. So one inhale, pinkies, elbows, scrape, roll the wrists. Exhale, push them away. One inhale, pinkies, forearms, bend the elbows, scrape the forehead, roll the wrists. Exhale, push it away. Yes. That right there kind of helps slow your breath down, because
yeah, exactly. Breath work right there.
It's very quick. It's like almost everything up here just kind of gets a little quick.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. And then we do the thing where we lay on the floor and we do our sitting stretches. And I've always done this, but I've never done this and twisted. Yeah. That feels great on the spine.
It does.
Yeah.
And then you can practice. So when you're in a side stretch, that hip is pushing down and it's the armpit that's pushing up. Hip down, armpit, not the hand. The armpit goes up. And then as you're, say, twisting, remember to not just focus on head and neck, but focus on the rest of the spine too.
Yes. Cool. Awesome. Quick little review from that. There was more earlier for those of you who didn't see it. This will be a saved video, so you can watch it later on again, or if you just want to review stuff. If you comment on this video later on, Nicole will see this because she is tagged in it. So if you have questions down the road for her, just type on here. She will see it, and I'm sure she'll be happy to respond to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she is here to serve and to help and to do everything that she can, just the way that we are here. So we just want to add some goodness to you guys. All right. Thank you, everybody. We enjoyed spending this time here with you, and we look forward to chatting with you in the future.
Thank you, Dr. Bryn. Thank you, everybody. Be well.
All right. Bye. Namaste.